Hi students, this video is going to be a quick overview of the proposal, and I just want to talk through the prompt with you to point out the really important pieces so that you understand what I'm looking for in this project. So you're going to be building on the primary research that you did in your report, and you're going to be kind of adding two things to that. You're going to be adding some secondary research, and you're also going to be making your proposal persuasive. So those are the two main differences from the previous project. You've got secondary sources, and this is now persuasive. Another one of the main differences is the audience, but we'll get there in a second. So overall, the proposal is persuasive. It's building on what you shared in your report, and it should be 4 to 6 single-spaced pages. That doesn't include a title page or a table of contents, should you choose to include that. You do want to have a title page, but a table of contents is optional. What you're going to do in the proposal is outline and suggest a plan of action for your company. So remember that your company does not have a social media presence. So you're going to be telling your company what social media platform is going to be the best for them and how they should use that social media platform. So basically, if I were to read this proposal, I would be able to execute your plan based on your recommendations. So someone should be able to read this and then actually do what you say. So you want to be as specific as possible. So what you're going to do is start with your report as a jumping off point, and you're going to use that same primary research, but you're also going to search for and use secondary sources as well. Here's one of the other big differences is that your audience is the social media communications committee for your company, and that's going to include the CEO and CTO. So basically you're talking to the C-suite, and you want to make sure that you tailor your recommendations to their needs. So this is not the old granny, and you're not going to need to give general information about social media because they're the social media communications committee. They're going to know a lot about social media already. So you don't need to spend a ton of time hashing out, this is what Instagram is and this is what a hashtag is. They're going to know all of that. So when I'm grading, I'm actually looking to see if you are tailoring it to a more informed audience, because you should be able to write to any audience. Sometimes you're going to have to write to someone who needs a lot of information, like the granny, and sometimes you're going to be writing to the C-suite that's going to have a lot of specialized knowledge. Okay, so that's one of the exercises in this one. Again, your goal is to advocate a specific course of action. All right, and then saying why you think that we should do this. Chapter 8 in the book is going to be really helpful, and you're also going to want to look over the models and samples that I'm going to provide for you. Now, that said, the models and samples this year are a little bit longer and a little bit different. I've tweaked the prompt, and the project is a little bit different than in years past. So please be sure that you understand what this prompt is asking you to do. So it's going to be a little bit shorter, and it's going to focus on a little bit different ideas. So make sure that you just use the samples as a jumping off point, maybe in terms of how it should be organized or how they, presented information or how they used each section. But in terms of the length and the content, your proposal is going to be quite a bit different. So no matter what you have in your proposal and no matter what your course of action is that you're advocating, you're going to have these sections. And I've done this to kind of help you along a little bit. These are sections that should help you to organize and draft your proposal. So you're going to have a title page. You're going to have an introduction where you summarize your project and your purpose and follow the genre pattern, obviously. You're going to include your primary research, and you don't have to include all of it, right? Because this is short. It's, if you try to continue your report and put everything from your report into the proposal, it's going to be too long. So the most important and persuasive data, you're going to have at least 2 outside sources, and you're going to pull that from your annotated bibliography. And then you're going to have a section where you talk about what we're actually going to do to implement the strategy that you suggest. So how do you want your plan to happen? I should be able to read this strategy for implementation section and be able to execute it, okay? So if you were to hand this off to someone, they could do it. Now, you might know what you need, right? You might know what your company should do, but you want someone else to be able to read this and execute it. Then you've got your conclusion. You're just going to follow the genre pattern. In addition to the written communication rubric, you should do all of these things: audience awareness, follow the genre pattern, use the paramedic method, incorporate and contextualize images, seamlessly integrate secondary sources. It should be well designed and visually pleasing. You should cite and attribute your outside sources, but you do not need a works cited at the end because generally business documents don't use that. And then making sure that you have gone through and eliminated any errors. And of course that you're following the instructions in this prompt. So I hope that that's helpful, and if you have any questions, please reach out and ask.